Hey up everybody, Betty's back again. Right, today it's another nice comforting dish. It's a chicken, ham and leek pie. So I'll show you the ingredients and we'll get cracking with it. Okay, so you're going to need a tablespoon of vegetable oil. You want some chicken thigh fillets, which I have here. 600 grams, perfect. We're going to need, there is some butter in there, 60 grams of butter. You're going to want 2 leeks, 2 garlic cloves, 125 mils of white wine, I've just got a little bottle there, 60 grams of plain flour. You want 400 mils of chicken stock, that's just 1 cube into 400 mils of boiling water. 250 mils of milk, I'm using the lactose free, that's what we've got. You're going to want 2 bay leaves, a few sprigs of thyme, which I have there, about 180 grams of ham, it's probably about right, that's leftover ham from the other day, and a 500 gram pack of puff pastry. You're also going to need 1 egg, which will be beaten for the glaze. So that is your ingredients. I'll get prepping and then we'll get cooking. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've just peeled back, actually I've just missed a bit there, look. Peel back these, give them a quick rinse, dried them off, and we're just going to trim these now and slice them. So one end, the other end, like so. So we're going to remove those. And basically you're just chopping these up, making it nice and fine or fine-ish. However you want them. You don't want them too chunky. Yep, we'll just keep going with this. More than enough leeks there for this pie. Making sure to keep my fingers well clear, because I know what I'm like. Like I said, they don't have to be too fine. There we go. So that's the leeks done. Okay, next to do is our chicken thigh fillets. Normally I wouldn't buy the fillets, I'd get them with a bone in, because you always get more flavour that way, it seems to, but like this calls for boneless. So all we're doing here, we're just chunking these up into however big sizes you want. I would say, yeah, you want fairly big chunks. You don't want little tiny little pieces. I'm not going to bother removing any of the bits of the fat. Fat is flavour in this. So yeah, so I'm just going to chunk them up like so. I've just rinsed off those leeks, by the way, in case you're wondering, because there was still bits in the inner. You tend to get a little bit of grit in there. So I've just rinsed them off, they're currently draining on the sideboard. So yeah, just gonna keep going with this. Slimy little so-and-so. You get the picture anyway. About, yeah, pretty decent sized pieces, I would say. Right, so I'm going to crack on with the rest of those and I'll come back. Okay, so that is the chicken done. That to one side. Just cleaned and dried my knife. So on to chopping the ham. This is the bit of ham we had left from the other day. So I'm going to use the green one here. I know it's for vegetables, but I'm not using it for anything else after this, so it's going to get washed. Basically, I'm just cubing this up to decent sized cubes, chunks, like so. Just doing one by one. So yeah, you want fairly decent sized pieces, to be fair, like so. Into the bowl they go. It's a nice decent sized chunks there. This needs using up. We'd normally use it for sandwiches, but we haven't been having any, so it's perfect for this dish, already cooked, so you aren't going to mess about. Perfect. In they go. Try and make them as uniform as possible, and it's not always going to be, they're not going to be all the same size, but you know, not that it really matters because, like I said, they're already cooked. So that is that bit done. On to cooking the chicken. Okay, so I have put some the tablespoon of vegetable oil into my pan. It's on a medium heat. So the first thing we're going to do is fry off this chicken for about 6 or 7 minutes. Doesn't have to be cooked right through, just needs to be browned off. So here we go, in it goes. Find a utensil. Use a wooden spoon just to break this up. The pan's not quite hot. It's been on for a little while, but not, obviously not long enough to get that sizzle, but it is starting to sizzle. So you're going to fry that off for 6 to 8 minutes. Just keep turning it until it's browned all over. So I'll come back when we're at that stage. So this has had a good 5 or 6 minutes now. Unfortunately, a lot of water had come out of there, so it's not browned off, but it is part cooked, which is what I'm looking for. So I'm now just going to remove this from the pan onto a plate and set it aside. Right, next to go in is our butter. Now that the pan is emptied, 60 grams, I'm just going to guess at this, it's a generous knob of butter. I would say that's about right. Right, put that to one side. So we're now gonna, hold on a second, just get that all around the pan. And next to go in is our leeks. There we go. Like I said, I did rinse these off earlier on and let them drain, just in case there was any more remaining bits of grit in there. So we're going to fry these off on a medium-ish heat for about 6 to 8 minutes, just until they've softened. We don't really want any colour, but to soften them up. So I'll come back when we're at that stage. Right, so they've had a nice 6-7 minutes and they're nicely softened. So I'm going to go in next with our chopped garlic. You could mince it if you want to. I've just finely chopped it, and we're just going to stir that in and just cook it for 1 minute with these lovely soft buttery leeks. They have started to catch slightly, but I've turned the heat right down, so it should be okay. I'm just going to give that a little minute. In fact, I'm just going to have to turn it right down, so just bring it up a little touch. You can see those leeks are nice and soft now, falling apart. Right. So next to go in is our white wine, about 125 mils, which I have here. There we go. And we're just going to cook that off. Let the alcohol evaporate, picking up some of the gubbins off the bottom, which is always a good thing for a pie. Just going to keep working that around. Deglaze the bottom and let the alcohol burn off, which should take a couple of minutes. So I'll come back when we're at that stage and it's done. Right, so that's had 2 or 3 minutes now. As you can see, that sauce has reduced, the alcohol's burnt off. So we're now going to go in with our 60 grams of flour. Get that in quickly. And we're going to work this in until it forms a paste and you can't see any more white. Just for a wee while. There you go, you can see it's all coming together nicely there. So it's like a roux sort of thing, it's all clumped everything together, as you can see. So we now need to gradually add our stock, a little bit at a time. And we're just going to stir that around till it all comes together, like so. Again, you see that thickening back up. Add some more. And we keep going. You don't want to dump it in all at once, just keep it going in gradually. You can see how much that thickens up right there. There we go, it's still very thick. That's the last of the stock going in. So you want to try and keep stirring that so you don't get any lumps as such, especially when you put the milk in, which is going in next. As you can see, that's still quite pasty look. Well, that's what we want. So now we're going to go in with our 250 mils of milk. So I'm going to put all that in and just keep stirring that until it comes to a nice smooth sauce. So just keep working it around. So I'll come back in a second when this has come back together. So I've been bringing that up to the simmer and I've been stirring more or less continuously just to make sure there's no lumps, because that's there. So I'm now going to add a little bit of seasoning, just a little bit of salt, because the ham's got plenty of salt in there, so a little pinch of salt. Just turn that down a slight touch. You're going to want plenty of black pepper, so I'm going to be generous with that. Do like black pepper or white pepper, depending on what you prefer, but that's what I've got to hand. So I'm just going to stir that in, and this is obviously the pie filling itself. So we're going to go back in with our chopped ham. That's going in there, and our lovely chicken and the juices going into there. And we're just going to basically mix this together. And that's just about your filling done. And it smells lovely. And you can see how thick that is, which is ideal for a pie. That's what you want. You don't want a watery based sauce. You want it so it's nice and thick. So I'm just going to let that just cook for maybe a couple of minutes, and then it's ready for the casserole dish and ready to put the lid on. Before I forget, I forgot the bay leaves and the thyme. trust me here. Obviously, when you're eating the pie, you're going to have to be careful of the bay leaf. But it does impart some nice flavour into there. So that is the pie filling done. Right, so that is our pie filling into our dish, like so. So that's nicely filled up. So the next step is to work our pastry and just have a see how thick it is. This is the ready rolled. It's a lot easier. Let's see whether I need to how much of this I need. Right, I would say I'm going to have to roll that out just a slight little bit. So I get a trusty old rolling pin, and I'm just going to slightly elongate this, thin it out a little bit, like so. Just enough so that it will go onto and cover the dish. That's more than enough. So put that to the side. So I'm just going to move that away for now. So we have our egg, which I've beaten, which is for the egg wash. I'm just going to lightly go around the edge of our dish. Just around the edge. Just to act like glue. Just so it will stick. I've got my oven preheated at 200 degrees C, that's 180 fan, gas max 6. So that is ready for the pastry. So, as gently as we can, I'm now going to just remove this and just lay it basically over our pie. Like so. Right, I'm going to need a fork. So I'm just going to crimp this around the edge, like so. Just dock it around the edge. Just keep going, pressing it down. Doesn't have to be fancy. Like so. Right. Now I need a knife, back of a knife, and we're just going to trim this off as best we can. Hold on a second. In fact, I've taken the crimp off there, so I'll just redo that. But just work your way around. Like so. The offcuts, I may just make some fancy sort of shape or whatever, I don't know yet. We'll see how I feel. So I'm just going around the edge like so. So we have got a little bit of offcut left. So I'm going to just think about that and see what I'm going to do with it, and I'll come back in a second. Right, so made a couple of little leaves. I've glazed the pie, made an air hole in the middle. So like I said, the oven's on, preheated, 200, 180 fan, gas max 6, and this is going in the oven for between 45 and 60 minutes. I'm going to do it for 45 minutes and see where we're at from there, and just keep an eye on it. So I'll be back shortly when it's done. Right, so that is it. It's had 45 minutes and that is cooked to perfection. It's bubbling away underneath, piping hot. So I'm just going to let that cool down. In fact, I'm going to reheat this up later this evening because it's now midday-ish. And I'm going to serve it with some mashed potatoes and maybe some peas or something, or some veg to go with it. So I'll see you guys in a second. Right, so Amanda's kindly made me some mash and warmed up some peas and reheated the pie for when I come in. So that is my chicken leek and ham pie served with some mashed potato and some peas. Right, so it's triple tea time. Right, just a fork today, more comfort food. Let's just give this pie filling a taste. See what to make of it. That's nice. Creamy sauce with the ham and the chicken and the leeks. That's delicious. There's the pastry there. Nice and flaky. Some of this lovely mash and some of these peas. Let's go for the full Monty. Well, that's tasty. That's really good. Quick, easy, delicious. So if you like the look of that, please give it a thumbs up. Hype if you can find the hype and hype it up. Thank you everybody for your lovely comments and recipe ideas. Keep them all coming. Appreciate everything that you all do for us both. So I'm going to go sit down, finish this off, and we'll catch you on the next one. Catch you later. Bye.